Back. Hello. It's been a while. Again. Gonna make sure my audio is working. I'm seeing there's some lag. And there is some latency as well. But I am indeed audible. I hope everyone's doing okay. Yeah, it's been a while. Those of you who are around have probably seen the latest video that we put up, to say that there's not going to be like normal devlogs or videos like that on the channel anymore. Instead of that, I'm just going to be doing the live streams again, which is cool. I've missed doing these kind of things and interacting with people, and it's easier to do the live streams because it's like I can tie in the time that I'm spending development with the time creating content, and I can interact with you guys, which is really cool. So it's a win-win. They're going to be every Tuesday from 8 until 9:30 or 8 until 10, depending on how tired I am, and possibly on Mondays as well, when time allows. But yeah, we're gonna do some classic Shiba Dog livestream dev stuff and hopefully have a good time. Casper, hello. It's good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you're doing well. Hope progress is going well on your VR game as well. I'm enjoying still watching the updates. So I feel like it's been a while since I've seen any updates. I feel like the last one was the hand model that you put in game, but I'm excited to see that when that's got the animations on it. It's going to be really cool. So I'm going to do just a couple of little starting notes before we get into doing the development. First and foremost, as per the video that I uploaded on Saturday, this live stream won't be available after the stream is finished. I may or may not upload some highlights and little clips to the channel over time, but if you want to watch the whole thing, it will be available over on the Shiba Dog Studios Patreon page, which you can support the studio for just £1 a month, and you'll get access to these videos along with early access to purchasing games when they release. There's also a new newsletter that we've got, which has taken place of the videos, the devlog. So if you want to get updates on how game development is going there and things that I'm doing outside of these streams, feel free to go over to the link in the description, www.shibadogstudios.com, and sign up for the newsletter over there. It's not spammy, I promise. It'll be like a once a month type thing, just updates with here's the progress we've made, here's an interesting blog that we've written, stuff like that. And it's just a way for you to keep up to date with any extra progress that we make on projects and any new projects that we might be bringing out. What's the last thing? I had another thing that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, Square Off. We're making progress on Square Off today. the classic shooter platformer game that I started making in June. We're working on power-ups for that today, and Square Off will be releasing on Steam in December, on December 11th this year. So please feel free to go and wishlist it on Steam. There's a link in the description for that as well. All of the wish lists really help out. We're not going to hit the threshold that Steam looks for probably, but the more you guys support and the more wish lists we get, the better off we'll be on release day. So it would really mean a lot if you could go and wish list it, even if you don't intend on buying the game when it comes out. So with all of that said, I think we are pretty much in a position to dive straight in. Yeah, power-ups. We're doing power-ups today. Let's have a look. Got the Oculus Quest 2. Nice. And got it working out. What's the bug that you've got? Last proper update was the hands away this weekend, so it was a small update. And that's fair enough, dude. I feel that, as I'm sure you know. Oh yeah, last thing I wanted to say, for anyone else who joins in or who watches this back, do join the Discord server. I want to bring the community back to life. It's been quiet over there since my uploads started falling off, but I want to start getting more interaction over there and posting more updates on games and stuff over in the Discord server too. So if you're interested in game dev and you're not in there already, please consider joining. It's free, and of course you can leave at any time. Same goes for subscribing to this channel. It's just little things that help keep the studio alive, and hopefully will help you guys as well, just in terms of finding new people to socialize with, learning new skills, etc, etc. Now we can get straight into it. So we are doing power-ups today, and I started working on this last week, so we're going to hop into Visual Studio and have a quick look at what I've got, and break things down a bit. So as a first note, Square Off has two kinds of power-ups. There's instant effect power-ups, so things like health boosts or temporary shields or something like that. And then there's weapon pickups, so things like the teleporter or the bomb, or I wanted to do a little morph ball like in Metroid because I thought that would be a really cool little item pickup to have. So we've got those are the two kinds of things. Obviously the instant activation, when the player collides with it, that it activates immediately, applies that effect to the player, and that's that. With the weapons, it's a little bit different because we have to obviously give a player a weapon that they can use, and then make it so that when they press their attack button or their special button, it activates the weapon that they've picked up. And some weapons will have a set amount of activations, some will last forever until you collect a new one, some will have a timeout. That will all come down to balancing the game, which we'll do in playtesting. Hopefully in the near future I'll be able to do some more live playtesting sessions with my buddies Adam and Alan, but we'll see when those get organised, and let you guys know with new updates and things coming out. So what we've got so far is there's a new interface that I've created called iCollectible, which is it's just an interface that anything that could be collected inherits from this interface. It's probably a bit redundant, but it's just a good way of enforcing this method signature for anything that should be collected by a player, so that I can just call any object dot collect, as long as it inherits from this interface, or implements this interface, sorry. So there's then this parent class, which is the powerup pickup. So weapon pickups and item pickups both inherit from this class because both of them have the same kind of functionality. They've just got different implementations. But as far as the base goes, a pickup has a color. I'm thinking they're going to be like diamonds that can maybe float and spin around in the air. That would be kind of cool. They'll have a bit of text to say what the item is when you bump into it. That will do like a pop-up flash thing, in a similar way to how there's another game that does that. The best example that I can think of now is in Five Nights at Freddy's Fazbear Pizzeria Simulator, where you buy things, and then when you buy things it does a little rainbow text going up to say how much money you've earned from that. If you don't know what I mean, there's loads of videos out on the internet that you can go and check out, but yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm thinking of going with, and we'll make it nice and readable so that people know what they've just picked up. There's an animator for playing an animation for when it's collected, although I don't know if that's going to be necessary. That might be redundant with the text. And then there's a reference to a particle effect that we're going to instantiate when the player collects it. We've also got a string for the name of the power-up that you're going to collect, although I'm thinking we might replace this with a scriptable object. I'm not sure yet. So the collect method that we're implementing here, based on the collectible interface, as a base will instantiate the collection effect at the position of the power-up that's just been collected, and then we'll destroy the game object that's been collected after 1.5 seconds. And I've just realised there's a bit of a flaw in that, in that if this thing is hanging around for 1.5 seconds, players can keep colliding with it. And we'll end up with this weird, you could end up with every player collecting this same power up. So we're gonna add another little header section here called, I don't know, internal data, I think. Internal data. And under here we're gonna have a private bool can, is collectible. Let's do that, is collectible. And we'll set that to true by default. And then what we'll do is in here, we'll say is collectible equals false. Whoa, what have I done there? There we go. And we'll just take all of that and stick it inside a little if statement saying if is collectible. Then we'll do the collection logic. Actually, no, I don't need to put that there because is collectible. This collect method is actually being called from the onTriggerEnter method, so we can just go down here and enter it into this if statement using an ampersand, not a comma, to say is collectible. There we go. So now it will only let you collect the power up if it hasn't already been collected. We might do some refactoring for this later for the purposes of object pooling, depending on resource usage, because you know, you can get memory getting a bit full if you keep instantiating and deleting and instantiating objects. So it might be sensible, especially if we know we're only going to have, say, 5 power-ups on screen at a time. It probably makes sense to just have those in a pool and maybe add a method in here called like public void init, which then takes in a object of type powerup SO. Called powerup, and then I'll tell you what, we'll also take in a vector2 for spawn position, or yeah, position, and then in here we can do all of our initialize powerup collection with what am I trying to say? Initialize power-up collection with power-up data, and then move power-up to position. And then rather than having it destroy, we'll call another method called set collectible. which is going to take a bool for is collectible. And of course we need to make this a void, and we'll have it be private because we don't need to call it from outside of the object. And then we will say if, do I even need to say if? No, I don't. I can say this dot is collectible equals is collectible, and then we can say game object dot set active is collectible. So now when we call this method, we will just set the game object to be active or deactive based on whether or not it's collectible. And obviously having this is collectible flag being set to false as well, it means this code isn't going to be called either. So we've now basically got it set up to support object pooling, which is cool, and a nice little optimization thing. The difference is just going to be in here. We need to set collectible and make it false. I really wish I would stop doing that. And then up in this bit we'll move the power up to the position and then enable for collection, and that will set collectible equal to true. Beautiful. Hello to any new people who have just showed up as well. It's nice to see you guys coming along to live streams. I'm aware that like audience numbers are going to be low at the moment because I've been inactive for a long time, but I wanna bring back consistent, once a week at least, live streams. We'll probably take a break over Christmas, but maybe won't. Sometimes we might do some longer ones for a special, like around the Christmas time when I'm on holiday. I might do an extended day, like a 4-hour live stream of game dev, especially with Square Off coming out in December. We might do like a nice long stream where we do some extra bug fixes and dev stuff post-release, and then spend a couple of hours playing it, possibly with you guys as well, because we are going to be implementing online support for the Steam release, which makes me really excited. I need to make sure I get onto that quickly, because it's going to take me probably a couple of weeks at least to get it just about working. And you know, the joy of it being with Steam is that Steam has an API for online networking, so it's all going to be integrated with Steam on that side of things. So a note on that, actually, anyone with the itch.io version, that version will not have support for online, and probably won't get too many content updates. I think the primary content update that we'll get is the new levels and the power-ups, which is what we're doing at the moment. We'll work on some new levels next week, I reckon. And then the Steam version is going to have updated things like a new main menu, online support, extra game modes, and a set of new things like that. So if you're interested in that, even if you think you're not 100% interested in that and you won't buy it when it comes out necessarily, please go wishlist. There's a link in the description. Really helps me out, and helps push us towards a little bit of a better place on the Steam search algorithm. So even if, like I say, you don't think you'll buy the game when it comes out, just wishlisting it really helps out the studio and really helps out me. So I would appreciate it greatly if you would be able to do that. So, for moving the power up to the position, we are simply going to do a transform.set position. That's not what it is. Transform.position equals position. Nice and easy. And then initializing the power up, we're going to have to go and do some tweaks for our power up SO first. So, hopping over here, first of all, let's make this inherit from scriptable object. That's what SO stands for. And we'll give it a create asset menu. Menu name equal to, let's call it power up, I guess. Yeah, I guess. And then file name. I've done this in the wrong order. I need to do file name first. File name is going to be equal to new power up that. And I'm going to take a quick pause so I can read what my good man Casper has said. When holding the revolver and it's open, you can close it with a flick of the hand. On the Quest 2, it's 2. Ah, okay. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Has the Quest 2 got more more updates on motion input compared to earlier versions of the Oculus that maybe mess with it? I don't know why that would do. I'm not a very VR savvy man, to be quite honest with you. But I'm interested to learn more, and I do love the updates that you give us in the Discord server and over on your Twitter as well. So yeah, I'm very interested to see more. So as far as these power-ups go, colors, we are going to have a color for each power-up. So this is going to be our power-up color, and I'm going to keep it in American spelling format just because I'm lazy. We also need a public transform. Yeah. Do we need a public transform? Yes, we do. Oh, bless me. Sneezing. I think we need a public transform. So, to talk you through my thought process right now, we're gonna have to take a step back into the way this works. So there's, as I was saying at the start of the stream, there's two types of pickups. There's the weapon pickup and the item pickup. So the item pickups activate immediately when the player picks it up, whereas the weapon pickup gives the player a weapon that they can then use. So item pickups don't need a prefab because the item pickup itself is the item, and so that can have an implementation of this void activate, this abstract void that we've got, that can then apply changes to the player movement object that we're using, which, just so you know, the player movement script probably shouldn't be called player movement, it should be called player entity, because it's responsible for everything in the player entity, including movement, damage, and spawning and despawning and things. So we should probably rename that class to be something a bit more sensible for the amount of responsibility that it's got, or even separating out some of the responsibility into separate components, just for the sake of clean code. So we'll get around to that later, but the point is, the weapon pickup is different because when you collect a weapon pickup, it's not going to activate. It needs to give the player a weapon object, and that's a little bit different to the way that the items work. So in this power up SO, I'm thinking maybe we have a public transform or a public weapon that is our weapon pickup. But then what we're going to do, we're going to be a little bit silly and possibly a bit overkill, and we're going to have this be an abstract scriptable object, and we're going to create two new scriptable objects that are an item scriptable object and a weapon scriptable object, and the weapon scriptable object will have a prefab for the actual weapon object that the player will get when they collect it, and the item will just have some extra information about maybe some variation in the item type, or a reference to a prefab for what the item pickup actually is, and then we can dynamically swap out the component or something like that. We'll figure it out when we get there. So we can get rid of this and then think about what power-ups need otherwise? And I think the answer is not a fat lot. One thing that I probably will do is have a ranged variable, so we'll set it between 0.1 and maybe 0.9, and this is going to be a public float spawn rate. So this will represent in our game manager where we have, or the game session manager I should say, which we'll have a look at that in a moment actually, because it's interesting to know how I've gone about doing that. We'll have a little thing in there that handles the spawning of power-ups, and it will have a list of all the available power-up scriptable objects and pick ones based on the percentage chance that they'll spawn, which is something that I need to figure out how to do because I always forget. So I believe that's everything that we need for our basic scriptable object, which means we can head back over into Unity and create some new scripts for the weapon scriptable object and the item scriptable object. When scaling for delta time, frequency should not be an issue. Yeah, that makes sense. Just hard to debug once it's deployed on the headset. Does it does Unity have any tools for like I'm trying to think, like at work, for example, the application server that the company I work at make is often deployed and set up on remote servers, and because it's a device with a network ID, you can attach a remote debugger to see what stages the code is at. Is there a similar thing like that for the Oculus? I imagine you'd probably know, and probably it isn't, but just out of curiosity, I'd be curious to know. Out of curiosity, I'd be curious to know. It's big brain. Genius. So I don't know if you can see what I'm doing right now, because I think my ugly mug is probably in the way, but I've created a weapon scriptable object class, and we're going to do the same for items just as soon as Unity stops being slow, because I've got a few scripts in here, which, by the way, there's a really good video by Game Dev Guide. What's his name? Is his name Matt? I think he's Matt. Matt over at Game Dev Guide made a really good video about libraries and asset bundles for Unity, because by default everything that's in your assets folder gets recompiled when you change just one script. It recompiles a whole lot. So if you split them up into asset bundles, it only recompiles asset bundles with scripts that have changed, which massively increases your compile time when you go back into the Unity editor after changing the scripts. So I'd advise going and watching that video if you're working on a larger project. I've also lost sound for my music because I'm listening through my speakers, and I don't want there to be a double up between the system audio and what's going through my microphone. So I'm having to listen to it quietly, but it's quite nice. So this is going to inherit not from item SO but POWERUP SO. Get rid of those, and this then can have our create asset menu thing, where file name is going to be new weapon, and the menu name is actually going to be powerups/weapon, because that sorts the menu out nicely. And then we'll do the same thing for our item SO as well. Go over here, have it come from POWERUP scriptable object, and we'll paste in our create asset menu. This is going to be a new item, and we'll do it under POWERUP/item. Should have a debugger when Android is connected. That's something. That is something. Again, my knowledge of anything VR related is terrible. I'm having to learn how to use Android Studio at the moment for university, because we've got a mobile dev module where we have to design a health and fitness app, which is a standard kind of university type project, but that's going. So let's create our weapon. Needs a public weapon called weapon, I guess, and that's going to be the actual weapon that this weapon represents, words, and we'll also give it a public string for weapon name, because that's good info to have, which actually we're not going to have in there because an item also needs a name, so we'll stick it up in our parent class. Public string power up name. Beautiful. And then the way that we're going to have to implement these is that for every weapon we create and every item we create, we're going to need to create a class that extends the item pickup or weapon class, and then this use method, which shouldn't actually be called use, it should be called activate, because we want it to be universal, so that when we go into our player we can just do item.activate and we can have it be of type oh, actually no, I'm being stupid. We can just have it as use, because it's only weapons that are used by people. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that the item scriptable object has. I guess we can have a public item pickup, I guess, because that's going to be nah, I don't really like that, because what we're going to need to do, we'll do that. So then in our power up pickup, when we initialize, or maybe we make this abstract or virtual. Yeah, let's make it virtual. So a virtual void, for those of you who are new to programming or don't know much about it, there's a few different ways that you can create or declare functions and methods in code, C# specifically, but also in things like Java and most modern languages. But I'm digressing. The main ways are just as is, so public void and then the method name, and then the other two, which I'm talking about here, are virtual voids and abstract voids, which are both methods that can be inherited and overridden by child classes or subclasses. The difference between a virtual void and an abstract void is that a virtual void can have a basic definition and then be overridden and have that base functionality still called from the child class, whereas an abstract class doesn't have any implementation. It is just defined as public abstract void, I don't know, play, and then you stick a semicolon on the end. It's kind of similar to how you define methods in an interface, with the difference being that an abstract void in a class is just a method with no implementation that child classes can make use of, whereas an interface is like a contract for given functionality. And you can't create an abstract method in a non-abstract class, but you can create a virtual void in a non-abstract class. Knowledge. So what we can do with that is this is basic functionality that we've got here. So this initialize PowerUp collection with PowerUp data, we will say handle this in the child class, which actually I'm gonna just indent that a little bit. Okay. So then if we do a quick hop, skip and a jump over to the weapon pickup, we can now do public override void init, and then we can do all of the code we need to do for initializing the weapon pickup, and then we do our cool basic functionality. Now this is a joy, because in Java you can't do this. In Java you have to call base dot method first, but in C# we can do whatever code we want here and then call our base implementation, and that's really nice because sometimes you've got code that you want to happen for everything, but you need it to happen after certain steps are done, which is exactly the case we've got here. We want to be initializing what the weapon is first, and then setting its position and activating it for collection. And we're going to have a similar situation with our item pickup as well, where we will go in here and have that public void. I'm going to move my microphone down a bit so it's not directly in my face. Public override void, sorry. In it, and we'll do the same thing. I probably should have just copied and pasted it, really. That would have been smart. Hindsight 2020. So, the difference between these is going to be that brain, the item pickup is going to do... Oh no, I can't do that, can I? Okay. We are going to get rid of that method, and we're going to get rid of this. We're not going to get rid of this. This is going to have a public item, not an item pickup, just public item, and it's going to be called item, I guess. And this is cool because PowerUp SO is going to be the right thing. So first things first, we need to check that the past PowerUp SO is of the correct type. So we need to do a check to make sure that this PowerUp SO is actually an item SO, because it inherits from PowerUp SO. So we can pass it in perfectly fine, but it won't line up with what we need to apply here. So we'll do that check first, but I'll get back to that. And then this item class, we're going to have item.activate, because it's just trust the process. Trust the process. So in the same way that we've got weapon pickup, and weapon scriptable object, we're now going to have item pickup, and item scriptable object. Let's make sure that actually types in. So let's actually go in here and create our public void activate, and this is going to take in a player movement player, and now we shouldn't have any compilation issues. Cool. So this also needs to be an abstract class, and this is actually going to be an abstract void. Because we're going to create a load of different classes for each different type of item. It's going to get messy quickly the more items that there are, but each one has different functionality, which means each one needs a different method. And one way that I've thought about doing that is using lambda expressions and scriptable objects, and kind of giving a delegate in the scriptable object as the as a variable, and then calling that from another class. But my brain is struggling to compute that, so we're not gonna mess around with that. We are gonna keep it simple. And it's the same for weapon. Weapon is an abstract class, which has this method for cooldown weapons. If we're using cooldown, that's toggleable. And then we've got this public abstract void use, which is gonna do the different things, and also takes in a player to effect, because some of them will affect the player that you're playing as, or need reference to its position. So that's cool. Let's work on this initialization. But before we do, how's everyone doing? How are we finding it? We've got 3 people in chat. Hello. I hope you're doing well and enjoying the content so far. If you are, please feel free to hit the subscribe button if you have not already. And if you want to find out more information about the stuff that we do outside of these live streams, consider signing up to the Shubadog Studios newsletter. There's a link to the website in the description. It's not a spammy newsletter. You'll get probably an email once a month, just with a new blog post for technical blog, which will be tutorials like how I've implemented this POWERUP system here, and then any updates that we're doing with games as we're going along, which is going to be important for this month because we've got a game coming out for Halloween, which we might work on next week instead of Square Off, because it's a really fun little project. But it is a lot more story driven, and I don't want to spoil things for people. So, I don't know. Maybe if you want to see it, you can join the Discord server and let me know. Until then, though, let's go back to our power-ups. So, we don't want to initialize the weapon pickup, we want to initialize the item pickup here. First things first, check that it's of the right type. So we're going to have an item pickup, and then we're going to say if item, do I want to do that? Oh, I can never remember how to do this. That's not what I wanted to do. Where's my Finder window? There it is. I have a script somewhere where I've had to check that something is the right type, and I believe it's probably an echo, actually. If I can remember where on earth I've saved echo. But there's a way that I can check the type of an object, like saying if power up is item SO item pickup. I think that's the syntax. That is the syntax. Beautiful. Else we will do a debug.log error, log exception. No, log error. The past power up SO is not of type item SO. please check yourself. And then we'll have this as the object so that we know we can click on the error in the inspector and it will highlight whichever pickup it is that's got this problem. If it is the right type though, we have the right type. Let's initialize. So we want to set the color, I think it's power up color, pickup color equal to item pickup dot color, power up color. There we go. Which, to be fair, I don't know why we're doing that, because we can just go straight in and set the thing to be the right color. But yeah, my brain. Frozen Well, hey man, how you doing? It's good to see you here. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well. We're working on power-ups today, and my brain is struggling. Yeah, so at the moment we're working on initializing things. So the power up, the pickup, we're saying it's color. We then also need to say item equals item pickup dot item. So let's go and fix that real quick. This is not going to be an item pickup, this is going to be an item. So we have an item, a spawn rate, and the name. That is cool. And we'll also say text. I can't remember what I called it. Collection text. That's it. Collection text dot text equals item dot item item pickup. Sorry, item pickup dot item name. Pick power up name. That's the one. And then we'll call the base functionality after that. Functionality. Boom. Joseph, hey man. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I'm glad to be back doing this. I just like a little break for the moment so my brain can reduce, but I'm really happy to be in a headspace again where I've got the motivation and the energy and the will to do these live streams. I've shuffled my room around this past weekend, so because my girlfriend's gone back to work in her office full time, so we don't have to share the desk anymore. So I've got my speakers set up again, I've got the lamps, and I've got like a little corner that feels like a little office space now. I've got my drum kit behind me here, which is quite nice. I don't know how well that comes through on stream, but I've got all of my music stuff, and yeah, it's good for mindset and headspace, just having a like a clear space that I can say, yeah, this is my workplace, and I don't have to, like, if the desk is messy, it's my fault. So I can look at it and be like, bit of an idiot, I need to clean. But yeah, I'm glad I'm back in the headspace and the mindset to be doing this on a weekly basis and interacting with you guys again, because I've missed it. I genuinely have, and I'm sad that I don't have the time or energy to make the devlogs regularly, but at least I can do this, and this is nicer because I can actually interact with you guys, because you guys are awesome. Love you guys. You've made this past year absolutely top notch. It's been better than I ever could have imagined, and I'm very grateful for that. I don't sound very genuine, but like I am genuine. I'm very grateful for all the support. So that's our item pickup done, I think. Yeah, and then we're calling item.activate down here, so we're not actually using the thing anymore. It just does what it's doing, and then the activate in item should, as a base, destroy the item, but that happens in the power up pickup anyway, so we're all good. See, glad you're back. Seems like the same as me, just not finding the time. Yeah, it's really tough. Like, I have so much respect for the people with full-time jobs or school. I think I almost regret not doing this earlier, because I've been learning to do game development and working with Unity for about 11 years now, 10 to 11 years. And actually, that's a lie. I did have a YouTube channel back when I was 15, where I was doing Unity tutorials, because I was a massive Brackeys fan, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do what Brackeys has done. But I didn't know anywhere near as much as I do now about programming, and I wasn't anywhere near as patient as I am now either. And I ended up giving up after uploading about 3 videos that just weren't at the quality level that I want, because I have very high standards for like the stuff that I create and the stuff I put out. So I stopped doing it, and that's when I got into music and moved more to doing songwriting and music production rather than game development. But I feel like it would have been much easier back then, because I had way less responsibility. You know, I've got a car that I need to pay for. I pay for, you know, my phone on a monthly basis. I've got rent to pay. There's bills that need paying, so I have to have my job. And the job comes with the university degree, so I have to go to university. And there's just so many other things that eat away at my time now that I'm adulting, which when I was, you know, 16, 17, I could have gotten away with putting more time into devlog. So, you know, hindsight's 2020 once again. If I had started earlier, maybe I would be doing weekly devlogs like I originally intended, but life goes on, and I think doing something like the live streams is a good alternative, because it means I can make time for both the marketing, the interacting with the community, and getting to know all of you guys, all of the other amazing developers that are out on YouTube, and people aspiring to develop, and people who are just interested in it, like yourself, Joseph, and like you, Frozen Well, because you guys are all really awesome people to interact with, and it also means that I can have the time to develop the games that I'm working on as well. So it's a good middle ground, I think. Streaming. Bye. My sister just came in. She's going to bed. Oh god, I do have to say, congrats on reaching over 530 subscribers. Thanks, man. I'm chuffed to bits. I can remember when the I think it's the 5th devlog or the 6th devlog in the Echo series came out, and that was the catalyst that brought most of the people that are subscribed now to the channel, and I really didn't expect that. Like, I remember Zyger commenting on that video, and I was like, whoa, because I'd been watching Zyger for like a year prior to even starting the channel. So things like that really like boost your confidence, and definitely make me feel like, yes, I can do that, I can do this, and keep pushing at it, because anything is possible if you persevere and you stay accountable and keep trying at it. You might need to change flight paths occasionally, like I've done with this channel, but it's all steps in the right direction. Gone back to Unity 3D recently. Nice, good choice. Been learning more 3D modeling. Been doing pixel art for 30 years, mate. That's a good track record. That is a good track record. I respect that. You know, sometimes change is what you need. Got to do a little bit of switch up to keep things interesting, but you know, if you ever decide to go back, Unity's still great for that as well, as this game is proving somewhat. That's cool though. You'll have to keep me updated with stuff over in the Discord server, because I'll be interested to see what kind of things you're working on. Right. So the weapon pickup next. We need to do all of our stuff here. So I am gonna copy paste. Because for the most part the functionality is going to be similar. We still need to do this check. Rather than an item scriptable object, we're going to have a weapon scriptable object, and we'll rename this to weapon pickup. What did I have it? Item pickup. Why did I call it item pickup? We'll stick with it. It doesn't make sense, but I don't want to think about what to change it to right now. So pickup color is going to be equal to weapon pickup dot power color. We need to update this. So weapon SO. We need to say our weapon is equal to the weapon pickup dot weapon. And what we're actually going to do, we're not going to do that. We're going to say weapon equals instantiate. No, we're not. We're going to do that on collection. Yeah, we'll do that on collection. Cool. So we're about halfway through the stream. We've basically got all of our collection logic done now. So we've got scriptable objects that hold the data about things. And when I say data about things, I specifically mean what type of weapon or item it is that's being collected. So we've got one for weapons and we've got one for items. These both inherit from a base level POWERUP scriptable object, which has a color, spawn rate, and a name. So that's all good. We've then also got these item objects. So item is the type of thing that you're going to be collecting if it's an item, and then we've also got weapon, which is the type of thing you're going to be collecting if it's a weapon. Makes perfect sense. And then we've got our pickups, which inherit from this POWERUP pickup parent class. We've got one for weapon pickups and one for item pickups, which each have their own individual logic for how collection works. So I think what we'll do in this last bit of the stream is work on some of the visuals for it. We'll start creating some of the prefabs, and then next week, or next Square Off stream, because next week we might be working on Let Me Out, which is the Halloween game that's going to be released on itch.io. If you want to know more about that and when it comes out, go and sign up to the newsletter that we've got over at shibadogstudios.com. There's a link in the description, and you'll get an email to let you know when the game comes out, along with the download link to get the game for free. So, yeah, let's get on to visuals. I am going to load up one of the level scenes, DM_1, one of my favorites. And we're going to just get playing. I'm going to get rid of the gizmos for the time being, because it's a bit cluttered with them, and we'll make the screen a bit bigger as well so you guys can see what we're doing here. So let's create a new empty game object, and we'll call this a POWERUP pickup. And I want to reset the transform so that it's nice and centered. And you know what, we will bring it down a little bit so it's a little bit more in the middle, so -2. I would like to create a square underneath this, and this is going to be our graphics, not graphox, graphics. And we're going to give it our basic square. And we are going to rotate it by 90 degrees, 45 degrees even on the z-axis. 45. Yeah, there we go. And we'll also scale it down a bit, say like 0.75. And what we'll probably do is have this. Ooh, I've just had a thought. Okay, so we're going to do something funky. So for those of you who've been following the channel for a while, or have been in the Discord server and know about other game projects we've worked on, there's a game called Shepherd that we're working on at the moment, which was due to release in August, but has been pushed back to January 7th of 2022. Again, if you want to find more information about that when it comes out and updates with the game, join the newsletter, join the Discord server, links in the description. We actually use 3D objects in that game, styled with a flat shader. And I'm thinking we're going to do a similar thing with our power-ups. I'm kind of liking the idea of having this 3D style rotating cube. So we're going to call this graphics. Drag that under the power-up pickup. We are going to reset its position. We're going to set the scale to 0.75 by 0.75 by 0.1. And we'll just do a little rotation here to make sure that looks cool, and it does. We're going to remove the box collider because we don't need that. And we are going to rotate it by 45 degrees on the Z-axis. 45 degrees. So now we've got this cool little thing that when it's rotating, it kind of looks like a 3D thing, but it looks 2D as well. I think that's going to look really cool. So we'll make a little flat shader for that as well, which is just going to be an unlit material, so we can assign it a color. Materials, create material, and we're going to call this our flat. Let's call it our pickup material. And this is going to be URP, and we're going unlit. Boom. For the time being, I'm going to just make it like pastel blue. Pastel red. Let's take the saturation down a bit. We'll take the brightness way up. So in our game scene, that's standing out nicely, and it's cool because yeah, when it rotates, I needed to rotate a bit faster than that, but you can see it looks pretty interesting. And we'll maybe make it bob up and down again as well. That would be cool. Let's have a look at Tretch. Briny Dev, hi, I feel like you're a new face. I don't recognize your name unless you're someone who's changed your YouTube name, but if not, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. Trying to get some productivity out of it after a day of sitting in front of a laptop just watching YouTube, and it's very hard to be focused. Any tips? Oh, I struggle with this. Yeah, I think for one, have a plan. It doesn't work for everybody, but certainly for me, I like to be a man with a plan. I like to make my Trello board, I like to have a list, and I like to eat the elephant in chunks as far as your kind of BS management phrases go. But it helps to visualize the end of the tunnel if you know that you've got these sizable chunks, so you can just split them up and think, this is small, I can get this done in an hour, I can get this done in 30 minutes even, you know, that helps for just a little bit of a step. Turn the internet off, it's not a bad shout. You know, avoid your thing. Like I use a web app called Friday, which is a planning and productivity system, but one of the features of that is dedicated work time in a timetable, and that blocks notifications from websites, so I don't get any notifications from YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, anything like that, so I don't have any distractions. I kind of am doing it a bit different now because I'm live streaming again, but yeah, that's another good approach. One other thing is just telling people about what you're working on, because it makes you accountable. It's like you have other people, like for me, for example, with this YouTube channel and my friends, I've told my friends I'm going to make a game for us guys to play. It's going to be a platform shooter, and it's going to be really cool. And they've said, oh no you're not, you never finish your games, because I never finish my games. So there's kind of that mental like, oh, I've got this reputation as someone who never finishes projects, I need to get this done. So it's a bit more of a negative one, but that certainly helps. And the other one, the final one that I'll say, which people probably disagree with, but I would say do side projects, or little experiments, because sometimes you're going to be working on something and you're just going to get really bored and you're not going to have any motivation to work on it whatsoever. And that's kind of what happened with me with Square Off, which is why Shepherd happened, because I had like 2 weeks of holiday booked off from work that I was going to use to work on Square Off, and I just sat down to work and I was like, you know, I really am not feeling this at the moment, but I need to do something with my time. So I decided to learn how to do procedural animation, and I made this little sheep, which is how Shepherd was born. Obviously now we're back to Square Off, and you've got to be a certain type of person, you've got to have that organisation to be able to do the plate spinning and have multiple projects going on at once. But you know, if it's something like a game jam, or just a little experiment, like a really small project that you can maybe make for mobile, or like a little clicker game or something, little side projects to just break up what you're working on and give you a bit of a gap, are really good, especially if you're a content creator. It gives you something new to make content about, which can help vary up your YouTube channel a bit, and can also make it a bit more interesting for people watching as well. Though that said, a lot of times people subscribe to your channel are probably watching for the devlog of a specific game you're working on, but hopefully those little bits of knowledge something useful for you. Gave me a sub a few months ago. Oh, awesome, dude. It's cool having you in live stream for the first time. To be fair, I haven't done a live stream for a good few months. I think the last one was probably in June or July, so it's nice that we're back and have this going. Yeah, I need the internet for googling stuff, but I would suggest something like Friday that turns off notifications, and also if you've got an Apple device, you can actually set it up to block certain URLs and apps from opening during certain periods of time. So if you allocate your 8 till 10 p.m. like I do as your development time, then you can set up your phone and computer to not let you do those things at that time. So that's one to look into as well. What we got from Casper? Good news, got the Android debugging bridge going. Awesome, but bad news, the bug I was working on is now gone. Classic. Yeah, that's scary. I think the order of scariness in code is when it doesn't work and you know why. When it doesn't work but you don't know why. No. There's it works and you know why. It doesn't work and you know why. It doesn't work and you don't know why. And then the scariest is when it works and you don't know why. That's like the worst thing to ever happen. Right, let's go back to this power up. So I'm actually really liking how that looks. I want to create a little utility script under my MISC folder. We're going to create a C# script called... Actually, you know what? We're not. We're going to just stick this straight in the PowerUp pickup. Do I have lean tween or do tween installed? I do. Sure. We are going to have public void start. Start. And I want to say lean tween dot I can never remember. Is it rotate? Yeah. Let's see what we got. We've got let's zoom in my code as well a little bit so you guys can see a bit clearer. I haven't been paying attention to the fact that it's actually quite small. Rotate game objects around a certain axis in local space. The best method to use when you want to rotate beyond 180 degrees. That could be the one. Yeah, that could be the one. Yeah, let's do that. Rotate around local. So we are rotating this .game object, which you don't actually need this, so you can just do game object because it's a mono behavior and it's got that as a field. We are going to do it around vector3.up, and we are going to add, let's say, I don't know, 20 degrees. Actually no, let's do 45 degrees and we'll do that in 0.5 seconds. And then we're going to say loop type lean tween dot loop type. How do I set loop types in lean tween? I genuinely can't remember. Dot let's do that. Set loop type lean tween type dot linear, I guess, dot loop. Can I get it to loop forever? Actually, you know what? I could probably just do this much easier. I'll just have public void update transform dot rotation plus equals quaternion dot Euler even. Careful now. New vector3 0, and then we're going to do transform dot rotation plus rotation speed times time dot delta time 0, and then we need the public float rotation speed, which we're going to set to, I don't know, 5 by default. Why is this complaining? Oh, transform dot rotation dot y, that's why. And then we can see, I want to use this to make it bob up and down is the problem, but I don't know how, so we'll come back to that later. Maybe I'll just do it as an animation. Cheers man, made some devlogs, but now just focusing on posting on Twitter. Brilliant. Yeah, Twitter's fantastic. A lot of my posting is on Twitter now, because it's just easy. You can just type random gubbins and it gets attention. Also, make sure you're making use of things like Made with Unity Friday and Screenshot Saturday, as well as Wishlist Wednesday. Even if you don't have a game that's on Steam to be wishlisted, making a post calling for other people's games, so like a show me what you got type thing, that really helps for boosting your presence, because people like people and people like when people help them. So consider doing that as well if you want to grow on that platform. Making an RPG space game. Ooh, that'll be cool. I'll have to check out your channel and have a look at your videos. Consider me subbed. I'm gonna go and sub to you straight after this stream is done, because we love to support the other devs of the community. So let's test if this rotation works, shall we? Let's have a look. Now I'm convinced that something is going to break. Let's just put item pick. Can't what? Oh, it's abstract. Well, you shouldn't be abstract. Item pickup should not be abstract anymore. That should be as is. What, can't you just add the stupid thing? It needs a box collider 2D, so we'll add that on there, and then we can add our power up, our item pickup. There we go. And rotation speed is 5. I'm expecting errors, but I'm going to press play and hope that it does things. Oh, it is doing things. It's just not doing much. Maybe rotation speed is too high or too small. Interesting. Okay, so I've clearly done something wrong. I probably want to do transform.rotate towards, don't I? Lost my music again. There we go. Lean tween is one of the things that makes you, yeah, that's very true. If I knew how to use it. Oh, I'm so bad. I need to take some extra time to use it. I'll tell you what is good that I've been put onto recently is, hey, there we go, it's working. Feel. Which is a Unity plugin. It costs about $50, but it was on sale when I got it for like 10 or something like that. But it's a feel and feedback plugin. I was doing that thing again where it gets stuck. I wonder why it does that. Because it was working, and then it wasn't. Did you go? Hold on. That's weird. It's working and then it just stops. What I was saying is yeah, feel is a really good asset. It's got things like controller vibrations, feedbacks for post-processing, sound effects, particle systems. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. It's really good. So if it's one that you haven't got already, I definitely recommend going and grabbing it. I want to know why this isn't working. You know what, that's not what I want. Go away. We're going to open a new tab over here, and we are going to do a quick little lean tween, infinite tween. Hey, look, they've actually got exactly what I'm looking for here. God, that's a bit bright, isn't it? Lean tween dot rotate y game object blah set repeat 999. This is what I'm wanting to do. Is this little line right here? That'll do the job, and that's obviously going to be my rotation speed. Oh yeah, that makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. So that's rotating around the x-axis now, which isn't quite what I wanted. We want it to be vector 3 dot up. There we go. And then we can probably do public void start. And this is where we'll do our lean tween dot move local y. And then it's going to be game object dot yeah, we'll do game object for now, and we are going to do, let's move it up 0.5, and we will do it over, we'll use rotation speed again. And we'll do, what is it that they've done here? Set loop clamp. And we're leaving that empty. It's annoying because there's no summary comment on the method, so I don't know how it works. Ugh, let's see what happens. This is really something. I want the rotation speed to be a lot faster than that, something like 250, that's better. Okay, so we'll do set loop. Oh, can I do loop ping pong? Yeah, let's do that. Let's do set loop ping pong, and we'll get rid of this loop clamp, and we will set this to 0.1, and we will go here and we'll set our rotation speed to like 250. I've just thought of something else I want to do actually, is go here and say set loop type lean tween type dot ease in out. Let's try bounce. Let's try ease and out bounce. Let's see how that feels. Having so many assets in Unity is kind of weird. It's like modding Skyrim. Yeah, I feel that. 150 assets. Fair play. I mean, I can respect that for messing around. Got to experiment sometimes, you know. Okay, this is progress. It's doing the thing. I want this to be 0.5. Stiff leg. Oh, of course it's taking ages. We want this to be the number of seconds it takes, so should we say half a second again? Just for the purposes of getting things going. So it's going to do up and down in half a second. Wow, that's not quite what I was expecting. But we're getting closer. We are getting closer. Let's make that 0.25, make that distance 0.1, and I need it to move back and forth, which I figured set ping pong would do. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we need to do this at the end of the chain, or maybe set loop. It should be loop ping pong. What's the overload, I wonder? Takes a number. I imagine that's the number of times it loops, right? A-star pathfinding, 100%. What's Odin though? I feel like I've heard of it, but I have no idea what it does. Please do tell. Yeah, there we go. That's better. I think that's a bit dramatic. So we'll just do ease in, out. Sign. And we will... Have I got these the wrong way around or something? Float 2 and float time. No, I haven't. Should I just move Y? Move it 0.1 in, let's say 1 second. What's my favourite? I think it's got to be feel. I haven't even used it that much, but it's, especially for square off, I've added things like controller shake and haptic feedback and stuff with that plugin, and that's a really nice little change that I probably wouldn't have figured out how to do without a plugin like it. So yeah, that's really cool. This is strange. I feel like lean tween doesn't make any sense. Odin. Make sure inspector look better for scriptable objects. Nice. I feel like I should have bought it when it was on sale in the Humble Bundle. And my guy, don't be apologising for being chatty. We like to have a nice vocal chat room. So please continue to talk to me about plugins and stuff, because I genuinely do like to hear about it. If anyone knows how I can set this up with lean tween, please tell me, because this is madness. I feel like It's like it keeps going to the same place as well. I keep making this smaller, this 2 smaller. Oh, that's because it's lerping to 0.01 on Y. I want that to be local. Yeah, it's got to be move local, right? That's the only one that makes sense out of the options. It's move local. Ah, it's relative to the parent transform. Okay. So if we do move Y, we want this to be transform.position.y plus 0.25, I guess. We'll do that in 1 second. Loop type is ease in out sign, and set the loop to ping pong. But I feel like the easing in and out is not a sine wave because it's not easing, it should. This is getting closer to where I want it to be though. Like this is good, this is good. I think what we'll do is we'll actually have a reference to public transform graphics transform, and we'll actually move that rather than moving the parent. You should be a game object. Keep you as a transform, and we'll just do dot game object. There we go. And that is going to be graphics transform dot position dot y plus 0.5 because I want that to be a bit taller. Let's see if there's some better easing here, shall we? It's going to be one of these ease in out. Let's try this one. I might just have to make a custom curve, which would be okay. I just don't really want to because I don't think it's information that an item pickup should be holding. Oh, not been assigned, of course. Boop. Yeah, there's no easing on that. Maybe it's not loop type that I want to set. Is there like a there we go, set ease in out. Yeah, there we go. There we go. We're back in business, lads. Yeah, look at that. Okay, cool. So we've got our little spinning power up, and we can move this around and it will remain the same. Oh. Okay. Let's keep that as transform.position, and we are going to do graphics transform.rotate, so that we actually make sure we rotate just the graphics and not the collider, because we don't want the collider to be moving, or at least I don't think we do. That's interesting. So it changes its... This doesn't get updated. See, here's the problem that I've got. If I'm going to use object pooling for this, I need to be able to change the position. So if I'm going to be changing the position, I need to make sure that it'll move relative to the parent transform, excuse me. Does this mean I can't use lean tween? Maybe it does. Maybe it does. Unless, no. You know what? We're just not going to make it bob for the time being. And we'll go in here and we'll create graphics as an empty and then stick the diamond underneath it. Diamonds. So that the rotation is normal. I mean, if I was being smart, I'd just go into Blender and like change the actually make a square model that's rotated like a diamond rather than rotating a square in here, because as well the pickup color is going to be assigned dynamically. So we'll just have it rotating for the time being. I'll figure out how to do the bobbing properly later. Hey! Oh, I need to update the graphics transform. That's my bad. I want it to be graphics, and I'm gonna make this as a prefab as well, so that we've got our power up pickup. Yeah, make an animation. That's gonna be that's gonna be the option. There we go. We've got this this thing that we can move about. That's cool. It renders on top of everything because it's 3D. Minus 4.5. And you know what we're going to have to do? We're going to make this diamond a little bit smaller. It's probably going to be about 0.5 scale. Let's just drag a player in. Yeah, I think that's all right. Are we happy? Does that look good? I think that looks decent. Let me catch up with the chat and what we got. Showing pop-up for UI. Showing pop-up UI for pressing a button when you collide to press a key and open a menu for abilities. Yep. Bugs and pain. Of course, the player's a cube. This game is called Square Off. It makes perfect sense. If you haven't seen anything on Square Off, although I assume you have if you've been subscribed for a few months, Square Off is a platform battle arena with little physics-based cubes that shoot themselves out of the arena like in Smash Bros. It's currently on Steam. It's not out yet, but it's available to wishlist on Steam. So, if you want to help me out, please consider going and giving it a little add to your wish list, even if you don't fancy buying the game when it comes out, just because it's helpful. I'm going to put it to 0.65 because that's small enough and also looks cool. I'll tell you what, the last thing we'll do today is do the animations, and then we will call it a wrap. So let's go on here, and we are going to go to my animation window. We're going to create a new animation, and I am organized. We're going to go animation, entities, and power up pickups. My link doesn't work from the description. Well, that's an issue. Let's fix that, shall we? Yoink. Let's just copy and paste that to make sure that works. That it does. And bear with one sec. There we go. That should do it now. My my thing decided. Well, I say my thing decided. I copy and pasted the link, so it was just from the description of my other video, which meant that it didn't copy the full link. Oh no, I'm seeing lag. I am seeing lag on stream. OBS, what you saying? Kilobytes. Maybe it'll be okay. We're coming close to the end. We're coming close to the end. Float. I'll call this animation float. There we go. Link's updated now though. Or should be anyway. If you reload the stream, you should be able to get to it. Or if you don't want to reload the stream because you don't want to disappear, then the link is available in the Discord server and also on previous videos. I'm just going to hit the record button. Let's go to my diamond. We are going to go to 25 and we are going to move him up 0.5, and then we'll copy this one, paste it over here, go to our curves, and we're going to do position Y, and we'll just add some easing. Actually, it should be alright. Yeah. We are going to make that longer though. Like twice as long. Yeah. There we go. Cool. So now, when we hit play, it should do the thing. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Beautiful. Easy peasy. And now we can move it around and it still bobs up and down, which is great. And we can't change the color of it because we need to do that in the code, but it'll change color depending on the type of pickup it is, which obviously that needs to give consideration for the background color, because background colors are a pain in the bum. I'm glad you could find it by just copying the name though. That's good. That bodes well for algorithm juice. So I think that rounds us out nicely for a good place to end this stream. We've been going for a couple hours. It's been a bit of a gentle one to ease back into it, but we'll be back again next week or potentially later this week. Either way, you guys will be able to find out through the announcements channel over in the Discord community, which again I want to bring back to life because it's died a bit since I've been away. But we're gonna put some more updates in there and get some more things going. So if you're not in the Discord server already, please consider joining at the link in the description. If you want to get more information about when new games come out, get access to technical blogs and tutorials for how I've done things in the games, please consider signing up to our monthly newsletter. There's a link to our website where you can sign up for that in the description as well. And finally, if you want to help support the studio financially, we've got a Patreon page where you will also be able to get access to this full stream after the stream has ended through the link in the description as well, which is only £1 a month and really helps us out in terms of running costs for things, because nothing is free in this world. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this stream. I really enjoyed being back again. I'm looking forward to doing more of them and getting to interact with you guys and see you more often. Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I just want to say again thank you to everyone who's still subscribed for sticking around and staying on this game dev train with me. It's been a good year trying to figure out what the best decision is for where to go with the studio and how to do content, but I think it's hit a good stable ground now, so I'm really happy about that. But yeah, thanks again guys. We'll be back again either on Thursday or next Tuesday with some more streaming of live game dev. Until then, cheers.